This is Sales Unfiltered, a Fastcast where we break down the things that actually make a difference to winning in sales.
No BS, no boring theory, just real talk, real tactics, real results.
So last night I checked into my hotel and I've been traveling for a while. I was on a couple of other work trips and I needed to do some laundry. And I pull out the laundry list sort of sheet that the hotel provides. And there's a itemized list for every article of clothing that one could possibly own. You know, like turbans could be on there, just everything. And so there's a price for your pajama top, a price for your...
Wait. There's a line item for a pajama top?
Yes. Yes, there is. I was just like, this is a pain. I'm just going to go and buy new clothes. The point is that if pricing is too complex, you lose the buyer.
I think if you think you lost the deal on price, you're wrong. You lost the deal because you missed something along your way. You didn't drive the value proposition hard enough. You didn't understand your client. Hell, maybe you didn't even qualify your deal and your client, and you were chasing the business you had no business chasing to begin with. It is typically, in my opinion, something else in the sales process. And maybe the deal, maybe you get the no at the pricing phase because they let you get to that phase, let you play it out. But you don't lose the deal on price.
It is true, though, that you can lose the deal at the pricing stage. And how you handle this is really important.
So you and I actually have our own 5 rules for how to own the pricing stage of the sales process. So rule number 1, keep it simple, right? So CFOs, sales engineers who typically have a heavy hand in pricing deals, they geek out on complexity. The issue with that, obviously, that if it's so complex that your client can't understand it, how can they get comfortable with it? If they're not comfortable with it, how will they buy it? So rule number 1 is taking that internal quote and translating it into something that is easy, something that the client can understand, get comfortable with. If it's easy to understand, it's easy to buy.
Rule number 2 is to justify how the pricing was derived. So you need to be very clear about all the assumptions that you used to create the pricing and all of the scope that's incorporated into that pricing. So it's really clear to the customer what's included and what isn't included. They want to know what they're buying. Okay, number 3, frame the pricing in context of the value. Pricing on its own, just a number.
Rule number 4, don't discount, descope. So I hate discounting. I think it just destroys value. I spent all this time, this entire sales process, right? Intro meeting and proposals and whatnot, building this value for the company, for the services. And then I'm going to come in and say, it's actually not worth that much. I think you should price for what the service is worth. If you're not doing that, you're undermining your own work. You're undermining them. It doesn't make any sense. So now listen, sometimes your price is going to be higher than their budget. And that's okay. That's not something to be scared of. You don't discount. You descope. You team up with your client and you say, listen, what are the most important pieces here for you? What is the most urgent? How can we tighten that scope so you get what you need right now? And that would allow me to lower the price accordingly. And you know what happens in most cases? They'll come back and buy the whole thing at the full price. And if they don't do it now, they'll buy the first piece now and the second piece later.
Okay, rule number 5. Be direct, confident, and honest when you're talking about pricing. So too often, salespeople get really freaked out to have the conversation about pricing. They're not confident. They are so close to winning a deal. They've made it to the end. They've gone through so much work. And so there's so much riding on it and you want it so bad. And then boom, at the end, you almost can see the salespeople like, well, how much are you willing to give me for this? That's how much it is. And that's not at all what they need to do. They need to remember the value. They need to stay strong. They need to engage procurement, engage the buyers, engage all of the people on, that are involved in the process, in the closing process around pricing, why they're there and why they selected them. And they just need to stay confident, honest, and collaborative and keep the conversation going. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this helpful. Drop us a note if you want to hear anything specific on the next episode.
What am I going to say now?
Well, I thought you wanted me to say the whole thing.
No, I want to do it together.
Okay.